plans to release these animals back into the wild. Give visitors a close-up view without letting the wolves see the people.
Seeing a predator up close, and that's what gives that wow factor, looking at those yellow eyes.
Then, polar bears are among the most popular but difficult animals to keep in the zoo. So how does this zoo recreate their complex Arctic environment in urban Detroit?
No place in the world you're going to get a view like that.
And finally, how does this zoo respond to severe weather changes while keeping up with the ever-changing animal needs at their African savanna habitat?
What we're about to see has never been done yet, and we quite frankly don't know how everything is going to play out.
Come find the answers at a place we call the Ultimate Zoo. The Mexican gray wolf is the call of the wild. But man's relentless hunting of these animals has nearly silenced the voice of this fierce predator, driving it to the brink of extinction. With just 50 Mexican gray wolves left in the wild, it's a long journey back to repopulation. Leading that journey is Chicago's Brookfield Zoo. But how do you mount a monumental collaborative effort between zoologists, conservationists, and the U.S. and Mexican governments to save this vanishing species? Find out at Brookfield Zoo's Regenstein Wolfwoods. Heading this unprecedented zoo endeavor is Dr. Stuart Strahl, who understands that a superior zoo habitat is the only way to preserve this magnificent vanishing species.
Wolves are charismatic animals. They're in human folklore and mythology going back to the earliest verbal histories of humans. And so what we want to have here is a place where people and wolves can interact without sacrificing the wolves' need to be in a private space and have their own types of behavior. Seeing a predator up close, that's what gives that wow factor.
Oh, isn't he beautiful? Oh, there he is.
Dr. Strahl began his zoological career in the mailroom at Brookfield in 1981. Now, he is the president of the Chicago Zoological Society.
How are you doing?
Knowing that the Mexican wolf was in danger, Dr. Strahl leapt at the opportunity to create an extraordinary habitat that would replicate the wolf's experience in the wild, that they may someday be reintroduced into their natural environment. Regenstein Wolfwoods took 4 years and more than 100 experts to design and build. Here in the heart of the Chicago suburbs, landscape architects, horticulturists, and animal behavior specialists carefully constructed 2.1 acres to resemble the wolf's natural habitat. With so much at stake, there was no room for error.
This is the most endangered large animal in North America. There are only 50 of them in the wild, 250 in captivity, very few of them. So we wanted to have a habitat that was similar to what the wolves will experience in the mountains and stream beds of their native Arizona, New Mexico, and Mexico.
The wolves here are brothers, born in 2 separate litters at Columbus Zoo in 2001 and 2002.
Mexican gray wolf is the smallest of the subspecies of gray wolves in North America. They're about 30, 32 inches at the shoulders, weigh about 60 to 80 pounds.
Wolfwoods was designed to be a temporary training ground, not a permanent enclosure. These wolves were born to be wild. This isn't a touchy-feely kind of exhibit. For senior keeper Ed Laird, caring for the wolves required doing a lot of things differently.
We basically don't give them names. They have their stud book numbers, and so we refer to them by number because these animals don't really belong to Brookfield Zoo. They actually belong to the U.S. government. We have 691, 692, 694, 740, and 742. And it was sort of awkward at first because most of the other animals that I work with have names, but after a while they almost become names.
To prevent the wolves from trusting or depending on the keepers, keepers and wolves are never in the same physical space at the same time. Wolves are moved from one area to another by remote-controlled gates and edible treats. Here at Wolfwoods, fraternizing with the animals is strictly forbidden. It could sabotage the entire project.
It's real important that we try to keep these animals as wild as possible. We truly don't want them to associate people with food. And so therefore, we don't interact with them. We try not to make eye contact with them. We try to do everything remotely.
When the wolves need a bite to eat, these chutes in the visitor center let Ed feed the animals without coming in contact with them.
It was an ongoing joke that we weren't allowed to smile in the exhibit.
From names to feeding to habitat, every aspect of Regenstein Woods is aimed at getting the wolves back to the wild. This required a complete revision of everything people knew about building zoo habitats. For starters, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service stipulates that the wolves can only see people from 25% of the exhibit.
I don't see them.
Any more visibility would run the risk of the wolves becoming too comfortable with humans. The problem is that visitors can only see the wolves from a quarter of the exhibit too, which leaves a huge amount unseen by the public. The Wolfwoods designers had to come up with some clever solutions to make the exhibit work. This goal was accomplished through a mixture of careful planning and advanced technology. For instance, take a look at the main viewing building here. Can't see it? Well, that's exactly the point. You're looking at a one-way mirror.
The first day they were out there, the wolves were exploring and coming up and touching the glass, thinking there was a wolf in that reflection of one-way mirror.
But the Wolfwoods is over 2 acres in size. How are visitors supposed to see the wolves when they don't happen to be in front of the viewing windows? 5 carefully placed cameras give visitors another way to get close to the wolves, giving them high-tech access to the wolves' lifestyle.
Oh yeah, man, look here, he's zoomed in. Look.
And so even if the wolves are bedded down here during the day because it's hot out and it's a nice place to be, the guests can still see them from the visitor building by that remote control camera, which allows them to pan, zoom, up and down so they can actually focus in. You get some really nice pictures of the wolves because you can get really close shots even better than you can when they're more on view in the front part of the exhibit.
When we come back, we'll go face-to-face with the wolves and see the 75% of the habitat the public never gets to see. When Ultimate Zoo continues.